this video, again, we're talking about the book, The End of the World, Bible Prophecies Revealed by Pagan Luciferianism. And the next chapter is on how the seed of Satan moved to Europe. And what we're basically talking about there is the Black Stone, and how the Black Stone moved from Babylon to Pergamum in Turkey to Rome, and how it had the crescent moon, and symbol is the crescent moon of the moon goddess of ancient Babylon. And then it was moved to Mecca in about the 5th century AD. The Temple of Sybil was shut down in Rome, and the Black Stone was moved to Mecca. It was the first time Mecca was heard of anywhere in history. And the Kaaba was built, and they began to worship the Black Stone with the moon goddess symbol, with the crescent moon. And then, of course, in the 7th century AD, the Vatican was promoting among the Arabs that there was going to be a prophet that would rise up among them. And then they raised up Muhammad. Muhammad's first wife was Khadija. She was had been a Catholic nun and was a wealthy businesswoman, hired Muhammad to work in her business, and then married Muhammad. That was her third husband. She had children with her first two marriages. And she married Muhammad, and he was trained to be the prophet by Catholic monks and Catholic priests. And Catholicism, what they were doing was the Donatists in North Africa were unwilling to give up their Bibles. The Catholic Church labeled them as Donatists, so you can look them up. But they were Christians in North Africa that refused to give up their Bibles. That's probably why we have the oldest manuscripts we have in the Bible actually go back to the late 2nd century, late 1st century and early 2nd century. And they were Alexandrian manuscripts because the Christians in North Africa refused to give up their Bibles, even under penalty of death. And so the Vatican was trying to get rid of all the Bibles and get everybody just to, do whatever they wanted. And so they moved the Black Stone to Mecca. And then, just as it was prophesied in Daniel over 500 years before Christ, that it was a battle between the king of the north and the king of the south, which is the next chapter. But they were fighting over Jerusalem, and the Muslims were supposed to give the Vatican to give the Jerusalem to the Vatican, but instead he kept it for himself. And I'll talk more about that in the next one. But we want to talk about this Black Stone. The Black Stone now is also there's a Black Stone altar at the United Nations now too. So the Bible called the beast out of the sea, said that it would be the 8th king, but it would be one of the 7. It's the revived Roman Empire. It's run by the Vatican, but it's uniting all the nations of the world together, which hasn't been done since all the way back to Nimrod, back in ancient Babylon, who was also known as Sargon the Great. And that's why the Bible said that this empire was, now is not, and yet will come again. And that's the one world empire of Satan. But it's not going to last very long. It's just going to last a short time. But they're putting it together right now. And you can follow the Black Stone to see where the head of Babylonian paganism has been and where it is now. And but the Vatican is back in control, and they've created the United Nations, which is all nations of the world now, working to fulfill these Sustainable Development Goals, Agenda 21, also known as the Millennium Development Goals, to depopulate the planet and to make slaves of everyone. And it's all Luciferian, it's satanic, it's opposition to the Creator God, Yahweh, who reveals himself to us as Jesus Christ. So look forward to seeing you in the next chapter. Please read the book.